Hey guys, how's it going? It is a really gorgeous morning out and I'm out trying to beat the heat. So we're gonna do this video kind of in two parts. That's the plan at least. I wanted to get a little planting done very early and then I wanted to get something that's not planting done probably this evening, but I do have to run to Home Depot to be able to finish this project. But I needed to get something done before the heat came. We're supposed to be like 111 today, so that's a little rough. We're gonna plant some things very early in the morning so things have a little bit of time to acclimate before it gets too hot. I have these begonias. They are super gorgeous. Look at this color. Isn't that so pretty? They're like a high waxy silvery color, and then the centers of these is like a really deep purple color. This is a begonia called First Blush. It's a T-Rex begonia. So I've got 3 of them. They're really, really pretty. They're like iridescent almost. Super gorgeous. And then as they do age, they get this like purple color on them also. And one thing that's cool about begonias, well, for Monrovia at least, is that there's actually 2 plants in here. Begonias only throw their leaves one way, and so Monrovia does a thing where they put 2 begonias in a pot, so that way they've got it facing both ways, so it's a very round plant instead of a one-sided plant. But this is what it'll look like as it continues to age. This one got a little bit of shock from the heat and from shipping, which is okay. Also, look at the stems. They're like a really pretty red color. This is like a full shade plant. It says less than 3 hours, and I mean like we're gonna do not even 1 hour of sun because begonias don't do very well here. So we're gonna try to keep this one happy. It is hardy in zones 9 through 11, gets 16 inches tall and wide, and it doesn't need too much water, it says, but it definitely needs some water. So really pretty plant. This also says to plant the plant slightly above ground level, so we're gonna make sure that we do that. This isn't one that wants to sit in a ton of water, so we will make sure that this is like raised up just a little bit. It wants to drain well and it not just like sit in a ton of water, so we are gonna be safe about that. The other thing is, so these are gonna go over by the fountain that I have. I'm really excited about. I just think that is so interesting. I've never been like a huge begonia fan, but this is just like iridescent and reminds me of like a mermaid almost. I think it's so pretty. And on the back of this tag, it shows to like place it with like greens and pinks, which makes sense, but I don't have any like pinks, and I also don't have the plants that it says like plant it with. So my thought was I'm gonna go plant it over by the heucheras because that's also a green color, and I thought that that would be really pretty over there. So let's go get these planted over by the fountain. So this is the fountain area, and I'm thinking that I'm actually gonna plant them right here on the corner. I think that that'll be a really nice pop of color at the very end of this bed, and also technically at the very beginning of this bed. Right now, so you can see the cobwebs, but see all those flowers on it? That is all from the privet tree, which is one of the reasons that I've told you guys so many times that I hate the privet tree. It is just a mess. Look at this. So it drops these flowers and it goes into the fountain, fills the fountain, makes the fountain dirty within like 24 hours. It's so bad. So we still have one more privet tree on our property, but our neighbors to the left of us and to the right of us both have privet trees on their property. So we're never really gonna get away from having privets while we're here, which is fine. The big one is gone. The one that was like causing the most issues is gone, but this one right here provides way too much shade for us to take it down. It shades our house the entire afternoon, and so we really can't take it down because of how much shade it provides. But the amount of flowers it drops in the springtime, early summer, and then this fall it's gonna drop berries, and then it'll drop leaves. It's just, it is such a messy tree, so I really hate the privet. But this one, because it's a like multi-trunk, it's actually kind of pretty. I just hate the flowers that it drops and then the berries, so we will have to deal with that forever. Whatever, it's not that big of a deal. But we are gonna get these planted over here, and the reason that I can't plant them over here is because of that tree. So you win some, you lose some. So the 3 begonias, I think I'm gonna do like one there, and one here. So it'll be kind of like a little trio like this. It'll actually be a really big trio. I think it'll be big impact, but I think that that'll be super pretty. That's what you'll see when you first kind of like walk in. Oh, and see all of these leaves right here. That's all from the privet. But like 1, 2, 3, that'll be a nice little pop of color, I think. Like those. Oh, that's gonna be so good. Okay, let's get these planted and then we'll move on to the next project. got these planted. These look really pretty here. That'll be a really nice kind of pop of color. So this is what you'll see when you come in. You will always see Freya right there when you walk in. And Sadie, that's usually where she's hiding. Just like that. That's usually how it goes. Anyways, this is what you'll usually see right here. So that'll be really nice, actually, a little pop of color. I do want to add maybe something low growing here and then fill this in. This is a rough area for me. I'm not exactly sure what to do because as you can see, so it's about 10 o'clock right now. And so this is kind of getting some sun, but then it's gonna get like, this will get full sun, but then back here gets like dappled sun. So it's a little bit of a rough area to figure out exactly what needs to happen with this area. So I gotta find something that can handle full but also dappled sun. I don't know, I honestly need to just pay attention to this area a little bit better before I plant anything. That's kind of why it's sat empty, but I do need to get something planted, and I honestly want to get some like color over there because I got a lot of green. I think that's really, really pretty right there. That's kind of a bright pop of color. So now we're gonna go up to the driveway up here, and we're gonna talk about the next thing that we're gonna do, which we're just gonna start this project. We are not going to finish this project at all because it's gonna be way too hot. These projects that I'm doing this week are going to be very slow projects. It's gonna be probably shorter videos the rest of this week. We have one day on our forecast that's gonna be like 120 degrees, and that's too hot. So there might be less videos, or videos are just gonna be like 10 to like 12 minutes long because I can't be out here past 11. I also think while I'm up here, I'm gonna touch this up really quickly. This used to be all black and white, like you could actually read the letters, but you can't read the letters much anymore. And then it got oversprayed with some white. I'm gonna assume 100% that was Brent. So I think I'm gonna touch this up and then we'll do some math. So the plan for right here for today is I've got this super long driveway and I want to do some espalier on it. So I want to do big diamonds here. I think that would be really pretty. So it'll just be huge diamonds all along here instead of like small squares like I currently have on the other side of the property. I just think that that would be so pretty. So I got to do some math and figure this out. I got to measure how long it is and then how tall it is. And then I'm going to do a little bit of math. I'll sketch it out on some paper and show you guys exactly what I'm thinking. But let me show you guys the other espalier in case somebody hasn't seen it. Here's the other espalier. I'm not moving the umbrella, sorry. It's a little wild. It does need to be maintained a little bit. It got like tucked in about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So I gotta come in and get all those. Well, that's gonna be Brent because there's too many spiders in here. But we've had some really intense days, so a little bit of burn. We're leaving this umbrella here because we provide it with a little bit of shade, especially with like these hot days coming up. I'm gonna need to like give shade to the hydrangea. And to this, I have shade cloth right there that I still need to put up before we hit 120. Otherwise, things are just gonna fry. So we gotta do that. But here's the espalier. This is the square view of it. I want to do big diamonds instead of little squares like this. We're gonna kind of like follow that, but have it be a little more, I don't know, more diamond instead of square. And I do love this one, but I wanna try something a little bit different in the driveway. Oh man, that's gonna look so good with the grasses right there. This whole thing is just gonna be covered in diamonds like that. So we got a long ways to go. But this is kind of what I'm thinking, is doing these diamonds. I'm actually kind of thinking now, like, because we stand taller than it is, maybe I'll do these uneven. So bring this up maybe a couple inches. So, because they look kind of long and then like short, even though they are the exact same height. what we decided to do was, so we started our first one here, and then we came out 30 inches. So we did our first one here, we came out 30 inches, and then we did another one, 30 inches. How we got that was we took from the top to the bottom, divided that in half. That's at 32 inches, because our fence is 64 inches from the inside here to the inside there. So divide that in half, that gives us our middle mark, 30 inches, and we're coming across every 30 inches here, and then we come across 30 inches here to here, and then this here is 15 inches to the first one, 30 inches to the next one, and it'll be so on 30 inches. So each of these will be at 30-inch marks. I might need to do it, I mean, you look straight on and it actually looks really good, but I think when you kind of pull into the driveway, it looks longer here than it does there, even though it's technically not. So I think maybe I'll go up a little tiny bit higher, possibly. Then I have to remath. We'll see. Turns out I didn't measure correctly. So Brent's gonna go get us a tool. But I measured this one correctly at 32 inches. This one was at 34 inches. I just didn't even measure it. And then this one was at 32 inches. So now they're at the correct height, but we are gonna move it up. So these will be up another inch. So we're gonna go up to 33 inches, just to like fight the optical illusion. And he's gonna go get a snap line, which is basically a string that's covered in chalk. We'll start it here directly at 33 inches, and then we'll run it all the way down the line. And at the end over there, that'll also be at 33 inches. And then we snap it, and it puts a line of chalk on the fence. And then that's going to make it so all of my screws are at the exact same height. So I don't have to measure the height and the distance every time. Then I can just measure just my height, and then every time I just have to go over 30 inches and over 30 inches and over 30 inches, which I might just cut a piece of wood that's 30 inches, so that way I can butt it up against, and then I can just do a mark, and then I can just do a mark. I think that's probably the safest bet. Alright, you guys, we got the eyelets in, except we ran out for the bottom and the last couple that we need for this middle section. So we got the entire top done, almost all of the middle done. Let me show you the eyelets. Nothing exciting, but it is the start of the project. So we got all the eyelets in. They're turned up and down, so they'll kind of disappear. I mean, you can see they really do kind of disappear. And then I have the red chalk line, which I'm gonna hose off right now because I do have all of our holes drilled and our lines marked where they all go. So I don't need this red chalk anymore. And I'm a little afraid that it is gonna stain the fence. The reason that we had to do red was because the other chalk line that we had was white, and our local hardware store only had red. So we chose to go with the red one because white wouldn't show up. So we got that done, we got the top done. Let me hose this off really quickly and then we'll say goodbye. All right, you guys, it is getting to an unsafe temperature outside. I have my little fan with me, trying to cool down a little bit. It is so hot. We're gonna go inside. This is where the video is going to end. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Come back for tomorrow for part 2 of this, where we do the wire and we do the planting. So it'll actually look like something. So this was just the prep work and getting a couple of begonias planted that I really needed to get planted in the ground. So part 1, the steps, the math, the hard part. The next step is just finishing those bottom screws, getting the wire in, and getting the plants planted, which is the fun part. Well, we will also run irrigation because I do have irrigation that comes from right over here. So we'll run a straight line of irrigation. We'll do that tomorrow before the plants get planted, and each plant's gonna get water. I'll go over all of that and what plants we're gonna plant tomorrow. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. It's gonna look so good. It's gonna make it so it's not so blinding bright over here once I get everything in the ground. And I will see you all tomorrow for the next one. Bye, guys.